I should wear a shirt that says Alex Clark was right. So
that's the moral of the story.
Is that it? We're done. We're done with our segment.
People think I'm crazy, Charlie, because for the last year and a half, I've been talking extensively on social media. I'm this really, openly conservative young woman. And I'm like, guys, the health and wellness stuff is the future of the movement. This is what the moms care about. They're so into this. They're so into this. I've changed all of my content, my podcasts, my interviews to be on these topics. And my audience exploded. I said, God, this is where it is. This is the magic sauce. And then we've seen now the excitement just explode with women voters after this RFK endorsement of Trump. I've never seen anything like it. I'm so hype.
Tell me about it.
Okay, so first of all, I didn't know that was happening. You probably had an idea. Yeah, because you have all the inside information. That's why I listen to your show. So I go to this rally. The endorsement happens. I'm like, this is everything that I've been wanting to happen. And it finally happened. And immediately my DMs explode. All of these women in my audience, and my core audience, women 25 to 35, okay? A lot of them are conservative. Not everybody is sold on Trump. And so when this happened, it was DM after DM of, okay, this was it. This cinched the deal for me. I'm finally willing to post on my social media that I will be voting for Trump, and it is because of this RFK endorsement. It is because they are saying that the campaign will focus on food and pharma.
So what? Yeah, is that it specifically? Is that finally that we're going to see that kind of Trump energy of draining the food deep state, draining the pharma deep state?
Yeah.
And what is it about moms and women in particular? Why are they so passionate about those issues?
Because they see how it's affecting their kids and their friends' kids. They're sicker than ever before. They can't learn. The autism rates are through the roof. The kids are not okay. The kids are not okay. And this is how you get to the moms, is you focus on what we're going to do for children. And I know that there's been some controversy about, what Trump's been saying about abortion or whatever. He's trying to win. But the women that we have lost on some of the abortion stuff, we can gain back with this food and pharma. That is what I'm seeing. And
so specifically, the RFK is a signal to a lot of these moms and women that, hey, this administration will care about these issues, because RFK's earned a lot of the trust of these moms and women throughout the years, right?
Absolutely. And health is nonpartisan, right? So this is the ultimate issue that we could be talking about of like, hey, you don't like Trump? That's okay. That's okay. You don't have to like Trump, but you love this issue. This issue is important to you as a voter.
And it's finally being elevated on the national stage.
Yes. And
it's no longer just on podcasting.
I need people to understand that this is our only chance. And RFK kind of talked about it at the Turning Point Action rally in Phoenix with Trump. This is his only chance to be in any sort of political position to be able to make a difference. So if we do not vote Trump in this November, we lose our opportunity to do anything about this.
Yes.
We're done. Our kids are toast.
Let's talk about what this means. This means that we're going to blow up the food pyramid, right?
We're going to blow up the food pyramid. We're going to make it so that our media isn't bought and paid for by food companies. The food companies and the pharma companies aren't controlling what gets reported on. Why did Time Magazine this week put out an article saying, hey, maybe ultra-processed foods aren't so bad?
Can you guys get that, by the way? It's almost hard to believe. Please continue. I saw this.
A couple months ago, Time Magazine puts out an article saying ultra-processed foods are terrible. We need to be avoiding them. Like a day later, a day or so after RFK endorses Trump, they come out with an article saying, hey, ultra-processed foods, they're not that bad. Maybe they're not as bad as you think. Guess what? Ultra-processed foods aren't as bad as you think. They're worse. They're worse. They're worse.
And ultra-processed foods are like pretzels, Twizzlers, Snickers, potato chips, long ingredient lists.
If it didn't come from God, if the ingredients on the label are not single-word ingredients, right? If it doesn't say like
water, salt.
Yes, that is a real food item. If it has anything else, dextrose or high fructose corn syrup or any of those things, it's not real food.
Or fermented.
Yeah, stuff like that you can't pronounce. It's not real food, right? So the problem is that the entire news media is corrupted by these companies. And so on day one, President Trump's plan is to sign, hopefully, an executive order saying that the pharma companies cannot be paying for the FDA.
The D2C type advertising, right?
Yes. And so that is a huge problem. And you also have, there's so many things that this will affect, but the panel that decides our school lunch program, Charlie, almost all of them are taking money from Ozempic.
The Danish company
Yes.
Norsk or something?
Nova
Yeah.
Nordics.
Yeah.
So in 2025 is the next time that the panel meets to decide, what are going to be the school guidelines nationally for our public school lunches and food that's offered. Almost all of them are taking money from Ozempic. So when they're planning what's allowed in our schools for our kids to eat, what do you think they're going to say? They're going to pick, because they're receiving money from a weight loss pill that they're trying to make so kids can take. They're going to say, oh, we need to put a bunch of foods that's going to make them fat and sick.
And now aren't like 12-year-olds taking Ozempic?
Yeah, so they are testing it now for kids that young. They're trying to make that happen. By the way, this past October, they approved Lexapro, an antidepressant for kids as young as 7. Kids as young as 7. So I need you to understand that this is so huge. This is such a nonpartisan issue. This is the number one issue affecting our country. We have almost 80% of our military, 21-year-old men, that are not eligible to serve because they are so metabolically sick. This is a national security crisis if we do not have Trump and RFK tackling the food and pharma. So for all of the women, especially that listen to this show, that are so scared to tell their friends that they're voting for Trump, blame RFK. Say, guess what? I'm holding my nose and I'm voting for Trump because I want RFK, because the food and the pharma matter to me. This matters to me. I'm worried about my kids' future. You should be too. Kamala Harris's entire campaign, her top donor is Julie Kelly. She is a Monsanto shill. Her entire campaign is funded by food and pharma. That is why Kamala Harris's campaign refused to meet with RFK. You cannot understand the levels of corruption we're dealing with here. This is truly fighting evil. And all the other, especially if you're already an outspoken conservative, all the other good that Trump is going to do. But this is like...
But traditionally, Alex, the Whole Foods crowd are liberals, right? But we've run into each other at Whole Foods.
Yes, yeah. Well, it used to be, but the tides are turning. So ever since the pandemic...
Yes, tell us how this has changed.
So ever since the pandemic, it was really, they were so dumb. They were so dumb to mandate that vaccine, because as soon as they did that, people were like, wow, that's weird. That's an overstep, okay? I don't agree with that. And then people started on the right, who had never given a crap about raw milk or pharma or our food system. They started looking into it. I was one of them. 2 years ago, I would have been Chick-fil-A every day. Now I am radically different. And that's how I feel about Trump. So people are like, well, Trump, he loves his fast food and all that. Yeah, and that was a couple years ago, right? When he was president a couple years ago.
He's also a boomer. Like, this is
He's
new
a boomer,
to him, okay?
but this is new, but he's learning. And this is the thing, is you don't have to be perfect to understand all this. You can, listen to people like me on my show and start to learn. But Trump is learning, and I think that willingness to learn for those that are skeptical, that is super important. And it's important that he's saying, I'm willing to give RFK Jr. a position in my administration to handle all this. I know that he knows what he's doing.
And so this is a major potential win. And then from a policy standpoint, for not allowing D2C advertising, saying that our kids are overweight, they're depressed, they're anxious, they're suicidal, they're actively being poisoned. Talk up to our audience, and I want to go through the breaks here, guys. Educate our audience, about 1 minute remaining. Take one company like Kellogg. Kellogg, what are they doing to our kids that most people wouldn't know?
So Kellogg's is allowing artificial food dyes, which we know are carcinogenic. They cause cancer. They cause behavioral issues. They exacerbate autism, ADHD symptoms. They allow them in the United States because they say our kids like it, but they remove them in every other country. The United States is the only place that Kellogg's continues to put these food dyes in. There is a food babe right now there is a petition spearheaded by the food babe, Vani Hari, right now, getting as many signatures from parents as possible to pressure Kellogg's to drop the food dyes in America. These are the fights that RFK Jr. is going to fight with Trump.
This is an amazing thing. We need a medical reset. We need a food reset in this country, and the amount of attention that is now being given on the food space. This is like a dream come true for you, isn't it, Alex? It's
a dream come true. We're going to be hyper-focusing on my show, my podcast, formerly The Spillover, but brand new name on September 9th. Follow me on Instagram at RealAlexClark, because this is all the type of stuff that I talk about.